What's going on, y'all? Where do I begin? What's going on, YouTube world and YouTube tribe? Welcome back to LilBigMan Gaming, bringing you a review for The Flash, Season 8, Episode 8, called, let me adjust this here, called The Fire Next Time. Oh, I did this is about this just to let you know where this is about to go. This is about to be my first review since I got my channel, but this is going to be this is the first time in a long time I've been so frustrated with Flash, Arrow, Legends, etc., etc. This is the first time I've been so frustrated with an episode that this is going. I'm letting you know now. It's going to get a bad score, but I want you to know why. Alright. You know how I like to do. I like to give y'all a synopsis. Barry trusts his instincts doing a murder investigation, believing the suspect. Despite the overwhelming evidence against him, Iris gives Allegra an opportunity to be a mentor. Now, from the trailers, you already know the suspect is the hotness, right? So, the way they set this up, this incident takes place on Henry's birthday, which we know from thanks to Joe is February 1st. So this episode takes place in February on the day of Henry's birthday, which they set up by that. You know, you learned that later on from Joe. But the scene that sets up is that, you know, there's a mysterious murder. There is two people in the bar. There is I forgot the man. Is a man and a woman, but the woman leaves and the man, you know, he goes to, you know, he's closing up shop. He goes to pick up a stool or a chair and he gets burned. And then you know, he's telling somebody, "Hey, quit playing around. I'm not going to give you the rest of the money." So he knows. He thinks he knows who's doing this, and then you see some weird like glow like in the camera going towards him. He screams, and that's, you know, he's a melted pile of skeleton burnt mess on the floor. This is the lady confirms that the hotness was the last person she's seen the man get into it with. Thus, we get the whole the hotness is, you know, trying to have a moment with his son. He's trying to, you know, be a good father. Son is basically, you know, doesn't believe him because he abandoned him. The hotness is basically, you know, it's obvious that the hotness has not been the father of the year, but he's trying. Then the CCPD show up to arrest him because the girl Barry recognized when they was at the scene of the crime that girl's description of the hotness, so he showed her the picture of the hotness, and she realized that, and she said, "Yeah, that's the guy." So that's how they show up here, and they arrest him. And what starts this episode is, you know, into this emotional turmoil is that when they arrest Barry, stops him from you know, using his powers because he think they try to take his son from him. And when they arrest him, thanks to Barry using his powers to stop him, he also put the metahuman cuffs on him. But the hotness does something that catch Barry off guard. He basically says he's innocent. The scene is basically, and they even show it how it mirrors what happened the night that Henry was arrested. So when Barry looks into the hotness eyes, he realizes that he's talking just like his father, and Barry begins to believe that the hotness is not responsible for these murders. So basically, throughout the whole episode, Barry's in overdrive mode to prove that the hotness is not responsible for the murders, and that somebody else was doing the murders. So now that you know what was going on somewhat in the episode without spoiling it, let's get to some things I didn't like. And these will have, like, I want to say major spoilers, but these will have like minor spoilers because it's like I'm gonna talk about like a scene without spoiling anything, but I'm gonna talk about a specific dialogue that teed me off. The first thing I had a problem with this episode. This is if a person like me, if you ever watched Smallville and you was a true dedicated fan of Smallville and you watched it from season 1 to season 10, you can pick out when they just pasted copy a plot line or a previous plot line or idea from a different episode into this new episode, but they just try to put a new spin on probably do something that makes you go, okay, they kind of did this before, but they did something. They're doing something new, a little bit fresh with it, and that's what they try to do with this episode. And what I mean by that is this episode's plot line is basically any episode we've seen from season 1 till now, and probably in season 9. Spoiler alert: they renewed the Flash and Superman and other shows for new seasons. This plot line basically is Barry has an intuition about somebody being innocent, and nobody believes him until Barry finally finds to prove it, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, I didn't believe Barry. We should have believed Barry." Here's the problem: I gave it to you when I broke into this. They've been doing this since season 1. Every season has a plot line episode where something happens, Barry knows the truth, nobody believes him until basically almost at the climax of the episode. Then they just look stupid and got eggs on their face because they like, oh, Barry was right. The problem is that we're 8 seasons in. Everybody knows by now, because I look at it as a person. I put myself in the show, right? Let's say I was a character in the show. I would be the only person, I'll be looking at everybody else like, why are you not believing Barry? By now, we know to trust Barry's instincts. As Barry said this man is innocent, regardless of what, other stuff you try to put around it and make it seem like they use Henry, what happened with Henry and the fact that this is his birthday to say that, oh, he got blinders on. And that's an actual line from the show. They say, no, Cecile asked him, do you think you might have blinders on because of, what you went through, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, what? No, because I know how this story is going to go. Because you can see it coming a mile away. If you've seen these stories once, you've seen them 1,000 times. And because of the Flash, they do them almost every season. You've seen that it's basically going to end with the dude being proven that he didn't do it, right? That's no spoiler. We all know it's going to head in that direction. It's just the way how they got there. I watched it. This episode was cringeworthy because of how ridiculous everybody sounded, how ridiculous everybody contradict each other. And I'm going to get to that. I'm going to tell you why. Cecile has a line. This is, like I told you, I was going to tell you, just minor spoiler. This is just a line. Not going to tell you what got to there, but it's a line where Barry asks Cecile, and to give you context, Cecile doesn't think, and she explains this in the episode why, but she says in the episode she doesn't like using her powers on clients to get a read on them. So Barry, in a later scene, Barry asks her, oh, well, I know he's, they have this conversation about whether or not the hotness is telling the truth. And he asks her, I know you didn't use your abilities, but what did your gut tells you about him? I mean, basically, what does it tell you if he's innocent or not? And she goes, regardless if he's innocent or not, I think she said, yeah, regardless if he's innocent or not, or regardless if I believe he's innocent or not, whatever. Basically, that's what she was saying. Regardless if he's innocent or not, my gut, she said, this is what her answer is. Regardless if he's innocent or not, my gut says that he believes he's innocent. I'm like, that's not an answer. That's what my friend and my friend is Dub, who I play Warzone with. His That's not an answer. That's a cop out answer. He likes to say that those type of answers are playing both sides of the fence, right? Because you don't want to be on one side or you don't want to be on another. So you give this both sides of the fence answer, and her answer is literally, and it was stupid answer. Oh, regardless if he's innocent or not, he believes he's innocent. But that's basically. I think she's then says but that's not enough to, basically she's trying to see, but that's not enough, because all the facts point to him. And then there's another line. This was the worst one of the whole episode. This is where Barry, because what this story is, there's a big blow up scene where everybody's arguing and Barry blows up on them and everybody feels bad now. In this scene, Barry says they argued about whether or not he said, I believe he is, but he's basically saying he believes that the dude is innocent, that nobody can start fires like this twice in a row. He said not even metas could do that. So basically, he's saying the hotness could not set the way how the two people was burned was exact, meaning that meaning victim number 2 was burned and killed exactly in the same fashion as the first victim. Barry proves that's impossible even for a fire meta human. So he said for normal people or meta, nobody could burn somebody exactly the same way. So in this argument, this is where the line comes in. Everybody's arguing. Cecile says, "Oh, now you saying he's being framed," and Barry says it's a possibility. And Caitlin, or not Caitlin, Frost says that, like what I think Barry said something. I look at the facts. They look at the facts that he's an ex-con, a criminal. First of all, contradictory. Frost, you're an ex-con, you're an ex-villain. But the thing is, she says, dang, how the line goes. I'm trying to remember the setup, but basically they was arguing. And she said, and she's like, it's something like what it sounds like, Barry. You expect us to believe. You expect us to believe in the impossible. That's what she says. You expect us to believe in the impossible. And he says, Barry responds, which was on his part. The scene was cringeworthy because of how everybody was reacting. Barry's part in the scene was made the scene bearable, but everybody else made it seem just like. But yeah, Barry's response was yes, because if people would have done that when I was a kid, when my father was going to jail, he wouldn't have went to jail. That was his response. Not exactly, but basically that's what he said. That had some. After Killer Frost said, "It sounds like you expect us to believe it's something impossible." He said, "Yes, because if somebody had when I was a kid, my father wouldn't have went to jail." And then everybody goes, "Oh." You see Caitlin like she just go crap, and then you see Chester like, "Oh man," and you see Cecile, she's like, "Barry, we didn't know, we wasn't thinking." I'm like, "What? Would you?" I expected from Chester just a little bit from Chester because he's the new guy. Everybody else, I won't count Iris because Iris was basically only at the beginning and the Allegra parts. And for context, because I didn't, for the same video time, Allegra, I didn't really care about the Allegra parts at all. Like I will say this: it was cool that Allegra wanted to help a fellow inmate bring light to how people were trying to turn their lives around. It kind of sort of dealt with the main theme of the episode. Basically, people getting out of jail trying to turn their lives around, but the system won't allow them to because they're ex-cons. So I kind of get that. That was kind of the cool part, but other than that, I didn't really care. But my thing, once that got to that scene, and y'all will see, I'm just like, Chester a little bit. Everybody here, but even with that, everybody has experienced something impossible. Case in point, Killer Frost is impossible. She's the one who said the line, and yet you're living impossible. First of all, let's not forget, you started out as a other side of Caitlyn in her head. She transformed literally into you. You literally was like the Hulk. She literally was Caitlyn, then she was Killer Frost. First it was y'all both was the same person, then y'all became two entities. Then you literally unfused yourself like the Firestorm, and now y'all became two separate people. But yet we're talking about not believing in the impossible. That's rewind it. Since we on the theme of this is Henry's birthday, what happened? He even said in the episode, this was the last birthday before it happened. What he was talking about was Reverse Flash coming back in time to kill his mom. Or where he came to kill Barry, but future Barry got him out of there, and y'all know the rest. So, my point is, that was the impossible. Somebody literally traveled through time by running real fast. First of all, that's impossible, but yet it happened. So, we're sitting here questioning the impossible. Really? 8 seasons and you written into your script, that's questioning the impossible. And that's what made it cringe. You're questioning the impossible, where you have gotten to a point in the episode in this series where that should not even be an issue. That made my mind. It gave me a literal headache. This gave me a literal headache because 8 seasons and we're still questioning the impossible. Yes, that shouldn't even came out your mouth, Killer Frost. Yes, everybody should have automatically fell in line and believed in Barry. Nobody should have questioned Barry. If Barry said this man was innocent, y'all go along with Barry till y'all found overwhelming evidence that the man ain't innocent, and Barry realized, yeah, the man ain't innocent, and he probably killed those 2 people. Instead, Barry was the only person who kind of, sort of, and this was the other part that was kind of messed up, even though Joe stepped in to give bait, I was trying to say Sage. I was thinking about Sage advice, and I said Beige. He stepped in to give Barry Sage advice. The problem was, even Joe kind of sort of didn't know what to believe. Because it was like, when it came to like even hinting whether Joe believes, his answer was that, and it was a good one, but it was still just like, he couldn't really like decide either. But he basically said that Barry has a unique perspective because of what he went through. It gave him the ability to see things that other people can't see. And he was basically saying that everybody can't see what he see. Because of what he went through, he could see if a man is truly innocent or truly guilty, even when the overwhelming evidence says he is. So, in light of that, Barry basically get the confidence to continue, and they actually find, and Chester actually, it had not Barry begged him, Chester actually did find some evidence that, oh wow, shocker, Barry was telling the truth. The man didn't kill them because the one thing that everybody overlooked was Barry was trying to point to was the exact killings. There was something there. I won't tell you what it was, but there was something there in the 2 killings that led them to believe, he's really not. Yeah, okay. But this video went long now. I ranted long enough. It made my head hurt. It was cringeworthy. But in my opinion, this episode gets, this was so bad. This episode gets a 3 out of it. I was at my mind, I knew this was going to happen because I found out just before I give this verdict, quickly, I saw bits and pieces of this before I actually watched the whole episode. And I saw where it was going, so I pretty much knew where it was going, so I watched the whole episode, and it actually made it worse. I thought it was going to make it better. Maybe I'd probably give it a 5 because it probably was entertaining. No, it made it worse. I'm giving this a 3 out of 10 big ups because this episode retreaded so many things we've seen before. With the dialogue and the acting was cringeworthy because they all had to act like they did not just, I can't talk. They act like they not surrounded by impossible every day, where that's going to be the basis why they believe it, and they said they act like they not. So yeah, it was, the acting was horrible, the writing was horrible, but it did set up the next chapter. Graphic novels, that's what they call it, because the actual killer is supposed to be the second antagonist of this season. It's supposed to be 3, and it's supposed to be the second antagonist. So they did set that up. That was cool with it, but it was overall for me, it was just a headache inducing episode. But let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this episode, The Flash. If you liked the episode, let me know why. Yeah, this episode was just horrible to me. But if you enjoyed this review, hit this button right there, the upper right corner, for all of my reviews. And then if you enjoyed the video so much, I'm still just flabbergasted. If you enjoyed this video so much that you want to support the channel, hit the like, subscribe, share, hit the notifications button, do all those great things, because it helps me bring you more videos like this, where me so frustrated I can't even get my words out. Yeah, hit any one of these videos from all my amazing content, but don't go nowhere, because I got Superman Lois coming up. Yeah, I'm doing more reviews. I'm getting back into, I caught up a little bit to do Superman Lois next. So stay tuned. Peace out. Love you guys.